Hello again, everyone. Deflect here, Firm at Fair Gaming. I want to bring you a video on flavor of the month slash the best class to play most likely every season. So there are a few classes out there that it seems like these are the Blizzard's favorite, and they're always going to be top. And I'm going to pick you a one range and one melee, depending on what you want to play. So you can be a caster or you can be a melee, and I'll give you one of each that are most likely going to be in top keys. Now there's a there's a thing going around where this might be Blizzard's favorite class in the game, and they always make sure they're tops, and it is their poster child, and blah blah blah. Anyway, the buffs that went out this are going out today. You'll be able to see a little bit better on which one it is, but without any further ado, because hey, if you want to pick a class, you want to play a class and have great odds of getting into keys, pick mage. That's it. Just pick mage. Learn fire and learn. If you can learn all three specs, it's best. But at least learn fire. Fire is usually the top, and I'm going to show you why it is the top. Now, most likely you will you'll always be in keys with fire. Right now, frost is really good too, and arcane is usually best in raid, but not always the case. But fire is very good. If you can learn just one mage spec, I would recommend Learn Fire. Now, so we are in Mythic Plus. And I'm gonna this is Warcraft logs, and this is Mythic Plus. And you can see fire right now. This is pre-buff. Pre-buff Mythic Plus. Fire is crushing it. Crushing it. And they are getting buffed today. Frost still doing very well, getting buffed today. So if you could learn one spec, just one spec, and you want to be met all the time for range, pick fire. On the other hand, if you can learn one class, just one class for melee, pick rogue. You will most likely be in the meta group with fire, mage, or any mage really, and rogue. Now, to show you this, this is the run leaderboard. Dragonfight Season 3. We have Fire Mage, Frost Mage, Fire Mage, Outlaw Rogue, Outlaw Rogue, Outlaw Rogue, and then it goes on again. It's just the same guy over and over. Fire Mage, Frost Mage, Fire Mage, blah, blah, blah. All the way down. So it's Outlaw Rogue, Fire Mage, Outlaw, like, sprinkles in there, Fire Mage, a lot in there. Season 2 was the God comp. So Season 2, Dragonflight was a God comp. That was Evoker, Shadow Priest, and Fire Mage. So it's just a long list of Fire Mages. The reason you don't see Rogue in here is because these classes together were doing insane amount of DPS. So it's a one-off, but I'm sure if you went to a couple pages, you'd see a Rogue, because Rogues are still predominantly good, but just because they were God comp, they never saw anything run rampant like that before. Dragonflight Season 1. Rogue. Fire Mage. Soldier Rogue. Fire Mage. Sub Rogue. Sub Rogue. Fire Mage. Or Frost Mage, that one. Ooh. Frost Mage, Fire Mage, Frost Mage. So, again, sprinkled in Fire Mage, Frost Mage. All the first page with Sub Rogue. So it was Outlaw Rogue and Sub Rogue so far. And you can keep going back on this for a while now. This was Season 4 Shadowlands. So this was the other God comp that existed. This was Survival Hunter and Destro Warlock, which were crazy overtuned. For fun, I did a video showing how quick you can get 3K on Survival Hunter, and I want to say I did it within, like, I don't know, a week or 2 weeks, sorry, just after reset. So like 1 week of one and then just the next week of another, and it was just, you're invited to every group and do crazy damage. It was ridiculous as Survival Hunter. But you'll see Fire Mage again throughout here. You'll also see Outlaw Rogue as well. So there's two specs that even in these God comps, Outlaw Rogue is sprinkled in the top runs. And Fire Mage. So that is Season 4 Shadowlands. I don't think Season 3 worked. The data doesn't work. So we'll go back to Season 2. And it's just Sub Rogue and Frost Mage. Just bang all the way down. And you can continuously do this. All you have to do is go to Raider IO, just go to overall run leaderboard and then change the season. You can just keep going through. Season 1 doesn't work for Shadowlands, but that's another expansion where if you played Rogue, you played Mage, you're in the top runs. You can go back to BFA. BFA Season 4. What's in the top group? Fire Mage, Outlaw, Rogue. And just goes down and down and down. You can go BFA Season 3. And it just continuously does it. So if you wanted to bet on a class, double Outlaw, Rogue. But again, there's Fire Mage here. So if you want to bet on a class, you want to pick a class that you feel is always going to be good out of every time, and you just want to play something that's going to get you into keys, that's going to be in the meta, that's going to be always picked. Rogue, Mage, always in every season, always on the front page, and they're always doing well. So sometimes they'll switch up the spec for Rogue. Majority is Outlaw, but you can, like, sometimes it will throw in there like a sub, an assassination, depending on the season. And then Mage, always an M+, it's Frost Mage or Fire Mage. It's very rare you see Arcane. But those are the two specs. If you want to be a caster, pick a Mage. If you want to be tops, they're always there. Always. Frost, Fire, Frost, Fire. And then at Rogue. Usually Outlaw, but occasionally some seasons they switch it up to sub. And then this is the first one where Assassination is top. But they're sub. Number 14 run. sub, same guy. Sub, Rogue, different guy. So if you can learn Rogue and you can learn two different specs, there's an Outlaw there. So Outlaw is still very viable. Yeah, if you can learn two specs in Rogue, that's going to greatly benefit you. If you can learn, Fire and Frost, you're going to do just fine. If you can learn nothing but one spec, my recommendation would be Outlaw for Rogue and Fire Mage for Mage. And you will do very, very, very well in keys. You'll never have a problem, and that's if you just want to play one spec. If you want to play one spec, those are the ones I recommend. If you want to be just in the top, you always want to play, hey, I want to play something that's viable, most likely going to be in the top runs. Those are the two. And if you look back on everything else, tanks always change, healers always change. Basically, if you want to tank, I main a tank a lot too. But every season, a different tank is top. Brewmaster, Prot Warrior. You'll go to this season's Vengeance Demon Hunter. Last season, you can go to, it was Druid when they were like just crushing it with the tier piece. Season 1 was Paladins up until they got the switch, but Paladins were crushing it. You know, and it changes every season. Every season for a tank, it's a different one. BDKs running rampant season 4. They're probably going to again this season 4. BDKs are always better late in the expansion. Shadowlands season 2 didn't work, so I'll go to, or season 3 didn't work, I'll go to season 2. Back to Paladin, you know, Brewmaster. So, and then the healers changed too. You know, Holy was great, Resto, Shaman, then it went to Evoker, then it went to Holy Paladin again, then it was Resto Shaman's doing really well now. Resto Druid, and it just switches. So healers and tanks always change, but predominantly in keys, top DPS are going to be Mage and Rogue, and that is done all the way back to Legion. You can see the top runs, Mage and Rogue. So again, it's not saying you have to play them, but if you're wanting to play something that's always going to be doing well, those are the two specs. They try and keep them very competitive. And again, this is not saying like if you want to try and get into 15 keys, 20 keys, it doesn't matter. Every class in the game does 25s. Pretty sure every class in the game does up to 26, 27s right now. So it's not saying that don't go out there and say, oh, I can only play these two because I'm only going to do that. But the top performers are all usually this. For the rest, like I'll look at the worst spec is, I think, Frost DK. It's doing 27s. So, you know, if you think you can't get into keys and you know you're not going to do enough, Windwalker's doing 28s, 27s, and they're getting buffed again today. Every spec is capable of doing high-end content. It's just the top peak are usually Fire and Frost. So Perception is everything in World of Warcraft, unfortunately. And, you know, it trickles down. I've even seen people like call, oh, we need a lust for a 16. You don't need a lust for a 16. It's a 16. you can, get through just fine with drums. Like it doesn't matter. There's not enough stuff at the lower end that's gonna one shot you. It's gonna kill you. You're gonna have to do this, or you're not gonna complete the dungeon. It's just they're not made to do that. It's made for higher end, where they make those god comps and flavor of the month comps just to push the very end. But the most likeliness is it trickles down, which is unfortunate, and the trickle down effect might come into play where you are. So again, rogue mage. And then if you want to switch to PvP, those two are always good together in PvP as well. Anyways, that's just a tidbit. If you're looking for one spec and one spec only to play, those are the recommendations. If you have any questions, leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe, deflect, firm but fair gaming. We'll see you in the next video.